If you have received a similar text, I have only empathy for you because I was dealing with this text 6 years ago, and it led me to experience a lot of frustration. And I even started to get a little bit depressed because I was able to meet women during the day or in the bar or in a club. I was able to have conversations. I was able to get them interested in me. I was able to do that. And for me, that was a huge win back then because I was coming from a place of like feeling a lot of anxiety, not being able to strike up a conversation anytime I want. Even if I would drink alcohol, I would still feel anxious. And my friends would be able to meet women, I was not. This was my situation like 7, 8 years ago when I was at university. It was so bad and so frustrating and so depressing that I was forced to learn this. But now that I have learned the skill of meeting a woman in any kind of situation, I would have dates and then I would either get friend zone or she would flake on me. And dude, like it was so annoying, because I thought this was it. Like that's it. I can meet women now, so it's all good. But it was not it, of course, because I would go on a date and I thought, okay, now it's all good, I'm gonna kill it. And I would see clearly that every time I would have a date, the woman was slowly losing attraction. And I didn't understand why. Like, why was she losing attraction? The more I spoke, the more I presented myself, the more we spent time together. And even if she was attracted, like the first date, after a few dates, that was it. That was it. She would either not text me, like stop replying, or she would send me a text like, it was nice to meet you, but I'm not really interested in dating at the moment. I hope you find a good woman. And every time I would read such text, it was not just one time, by the way. I received so many texts like this. And every time I would read it, it was like, man, like, what am I doing wrong here? Like, there's something wrong with me, like, or is it women that are just completely toxic these days? They want the alpha male that is super rich, that has high status. I was like questioning this. And this led me to really dive deep into what is actually happening when I'm on a date with my ideal woman. What is happening? And I want this video to answer this question so that you have a clear understanding of what could be going wrong when you have a date, why she's flaking on you, why she doesn't want to go home with you and have sex, why is she slowly losing attraction and then flaking on you. And I really hope this can give you clarity. So there's three things that I want to talk about because it's not that simple to overcome this roadblock when you have a date with your ideal woman. It's not just one problem, it's usually a combination of certain things. So, the first problem that can happen is you don't convey any value when you're on a date with her, right? She doesn't see any value in dating you. And the best way to convey value with your ideal woman is to show her through your actions, through your behaviors, through your language, through the very way you present yourself that you are masculine. You don't have to, use pickup lines, use routines. You don't have to pretend to be an alpha male. You have to slowly, it's a process, you have to slowly become a masculine man. The best way to do that is to first learn to be grounded, right? You have to learn to be grounded. You have to learn to relax when you're on a date with her, meaning you don't want to be having anxiety running through your veins. You want to be completely relaxed. You want to relax your nervous system. And you want to develop this vibe that commands authority, that commands leadership, that commands respect. You have to develop this vibe, right? And they are training for this to really embody these traits of being a leader, expressing your boundaries, going for what you want, facing your fears, being grounded, etc., etc. These are the traits that when you will embody them, you will naturally attract your ideal woman. Just with masculinity, right? This is what I was working on 6 years ago. I was not masculine. When I was coming out of university, like 8 7 8 years ago, I was a feminist. I'm from France and feminism is pretty big in France. I was a feminist 7 8 years ago. Imagine, like, I'm talking about like being an alpha male, being masculine right now. 8 years ago, if you would talk to me this way, I would start judging you really hard. I remember my first mentor when he started to teach me about dating and stuff like that. He was talking about being a masculine man, and I would look at him and be like it was so hard for me to change my perspective because I was brainwashed completely, right? So the reason why I'm telling you this is because I come from far away. Like I come from really far away. It was bad, right? Um, And I hope that this story also shows you that it's possible to transform yourself. I'm sure that you can see that I'm not a feminist right now. I'm sure that you can see that I'm pretty masculine. I'm not trying to be arrogant here, but I'm sure you can feel my vibe, you can feel my energy. So it's possible to become a masculine man even though you're so far out, right? So that's the first point. The second point is you have to stop faking to be someone that you aren't. And that includes you faking to be masculine, to be the alpha. Stop pretending to be someone that you aren't. She will see right through your bullshit. She has a part in her brain that is dedicated to literally like detect the lies men try to tell her. The reason why she has this part in her brain is because if we look at it from a survival standpoint, she needs to make sure that she is going to partner up with the alpha, right? So that means that she needs to test you before knowing that, okay, this guy is someone that is going to provide for me, that is going to make me feel secure, that is going to take care of me. She needs to make sure that you are this kind of guy. That's why she's testing you. That's why if you pretend to be someone that you aren't with her, she will get turned off because you're trying to trick her. She will see it. And you know very well that women have this sixth sense, right? They have that. So why are you trying to be someone that you aren't? She sees it. Stop it. Instead, do the work. Do the work to become this masculine man so that you don't have to pretend. And let me tell you this, if you think that fake it till you make it is the right strategy, it's not. It is not. You have to dive internally to become this kind of man. Let me repeat. You have to dive internally to become this kind of man, meaning that you need to see which parts of yourself are on the way. Which part of you are blocking you to be that? Because you are naturally this masculine man. It's within yourself. It's within yourself. Like I know I repeat myself so much here, but I really want to make a point. It's within yourself. You have it already. The reason why it is not showing is because there are parts of yourself, shadows or subconscious blocks, whatever you call it, that are blocking you to be that. Maybe you don't feel good enough. Maybe you feel like you don't deserve her. Maybe you're feeling deeply anxious. And basically, again, she can see right through your bullshit because you're pretending, and she loses respect, she loses attraction, and she will flake on you. And it's a loop that keep on happening and happening and happening and happening. And that's why you feel so frustrated, right? And when you listen to all the advice on YouTube, it's terrible because probably half of the advice, probably more actually, um, tell you to learn this pickup line, to learn this routine, to learn technical game, to pretend, right, to be this fake alpha male. And they tell you it's working, but it's not. It's not. Maybe it works on the first date. Maybe you have sex with her, but then eventually she will flake on you. She will not want to see you again because she will see right through your bullshit. She will see it. That's why the technical guys, like the guys that are interested in pickup lines, learning the routines and stuff like that, they cannot sustain a healthy relationship. They cannot. They have a few dates and they can only have casual. That's it. Because they cannot go deep by faking it. It's impossible. You just cannot. That's why they have these very fleeting relationships, right? And they say that, oh yeah, casual is really what I want and stuff like that. But deep in their heart, they want a long-term relationship. They want to go deep, but they close their heart. So it's okay. The third reason, right? The third point that I want to make here, and this is actually a very controversial reason, I think, because it's going to go against a lot of the advice that you hear here, right? On YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram. If you're not vulnerable with her on the first few dates, on the first date, whatever it is, she will not trust you. She will not feel the connection. And she will not want to go home with you. And she will flake on you, right? So again, maybe you're able to have sex with her. But if you're not allowing yourself to be vulnerable with her, eventually she will flake on you. And then this story that you keep on repeating yourself of like, I'm not good enough for my ideal woman, that could be, a shadow, that could be a subconscious block, right? It gets reinforced. It gets reinforced because of this, because you're not allowing yourself to be vulnerable with her. This whole idea of like, you cannot be vulnerable with women is a complete bullshit. And I've made a video on this, so check my YouTube channel. Because I don't want to go too much into the details of this because it's a complex issue, right? To think that women don't care about your vulnerability. It's a very complex issue because yes, some women will not like it, but you don't want to be with this woman in the first place, right? You want to attract the right kind of woman that will receive your vulnerability. And there's also a way to be vulnerable and stuff like that. And I don't want to go too deep into this topic because I made a whole video about this. So really check my YouTube channel for this. But again, you have to be vulnerable with her on the first date, second date, third date, and throughout the whole relationship. If you think that playing games and hiding certain part of yourself is going to be good for the relationship that you're trying to create with your ideal woman, you're completely wrong here. And on top of that, because you're hiding certain aspects of yourself, she's going to do that as well. Because what you bring to the table, she will reflect that back at you. That's the whole feminine. That's what the feminine does. She will reflect that back at you. So why hiding then? What's the point? Why aren't you an open book? And I'm not saying that you should be an open book right away. Vulnerability is something that she should earn, right? You don't want to give it away like this, but allow yourself to slowly open. You can do that. It's allowed. And it's well received by women, by certain women, if you do it the correct way. Yeah? Thank you for watching. I hope this gives some perspective, some insights for you to really understand how to move forward, how to invite her home, how to create this deep attraction. And as you can see, it's not that simple. Even though it is simple in a way, but the issue is a little bit complex, right? It's not black and white, it's more black, gray, and white, right? There's a lot of nuance here. And the more nuance we are, the better, right? Because we can go deep with nuance. Thank you, my brother, for still watching right now. I appreciate it, and I see you when I see you.